Face. Okay, you look beautiful. Ready? Are you ready?
Hi, welcome back to the Lighthouse Addictions Topic Show. We are live here at the Lighthouse Treatment Center with our guests. We have Brian, we have Max, and we have Eric, and my co-host Carynn. So, guys, welcome.
Thank you.
They are actually from a organization called Living Life in Recovery, and I'd like them to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about your company.
All right, so we are an adventure treatment service provider. We contract with the Lighthouse to take their clients out and do various exciting adventures, with therapeutic concepts happening. And actually, Ryan is our therapeutic guy. I think he can probably tell you a little bit better than I can about what we actually talk about on these trips.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
Hi, Ryan.
Thank you guys for having us out here today. Eric is right. We do adventure treatment services. So we take clients and we like to hold space in a lot of our activities to practically apply these often intangible therapeutic concepts. So we have 15 different outings at this moment, and each one kind of focuses on a different specific therapeutic concept. So we try to tailor curriculum around these experiences because for a long time the adventure has been that kind of therapeutic component, and with the new research on neuroplasticity, there's a lot of depth and weight that can be carried into these experiences because these novel experiences really allow people to take this curriculum to a new level, to have an experience with it. So for us, this kind of surrounds the idea that we can learn about something, we can talk about it, we can write about it, but it's not until we have an experience with it that it really stays with us.
Beautiful. What are some of the activities that you guys provide?
I always love this question. Let's see. We have indoor and outdoor rock climbing. We have rappelling, high ropes course, indoor skydiving, go-karts, trapeze school. We also love doing wolf therapy. We're one of the only providers in Southern California that actually has hands-on wolf therapy, and we actually bring the wolves to you, and you get to get licked in the face and play with them and pet them. No, you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was it like to get licked in the face by a wolf?
Really messy, but I felt that connection with the wolf. It was really, really powerful, actually, to be able to be in front of such a powerful creature and not be scared. Yeah, it was really nice.
And I know Carynn has participated in our high ropes course event. What was that like for you? Were there tears?
Oh my gosh. I was screaming down the whole entire thing. I was like, I can't do this. But the group was about anxiety and fear. And, that kind of helped me to try and push that away and to try and not have anxiety while I was doing it and just trying to live in the moment.
We're just realizing that anxiety doesn't have to be paralyzing.
Yeah.
That we can move through it.
Fear, the only thing of fear is fear itself. Or the only thing you can fear. Oh my gosh, I can't even you know what I mean. I know what I'm saying in my head, but it's not coming out.
We can move through the anxiety.
So what inspired you guys to start Living Life in Recovery?
It was something that we saw was kind of really missing in the industry. There is the pure adventure therapy treatment programs, and there was your standard inpatient clinical setups, and we really wanted to find a way to add that missing component into what was around here and provide a taste of the adventure component to the predominant model around here, which is the clinical component.
I think too, we all in our own sobriety had experiences very early on that kind of shaped our journey into and through sobriety, and that really had an effect on why isn't that being presented in treatment.
Yeah.
Because we were all, I know when I was in treatment, I was surfing every day. And Ryan was surfing all the time. Eric was taking people rock climbing and camping, and somehow all three of us came together at a certain point, and we realized that our sobriety was very strong. We were doing really well, and we wanted to somehow create that environment and experience within treatment to try to reach as many people as possible.
Oh.
Why do you feel passionate about what you do in your company?
I feel like I just answered that. that phase. I can repeat myself. We're very passionate because this is what we do on a daily basis. You know, if you guys come see us on a Saturday or Sunday, you know, we're out rock climbing in the middle of nowhere. We're out skydiving or playing with wolves and doing a bunch of different activities that help keep life interesting and keep us driven and pushing the edge of what we are capable of.
And these are the things that make sobriety good. Like, these are the things that make, when I first got sober, I thought, okay, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to be the boring, like, just normal person for the rest of my life, because that's what was my picture of the sober person when I was using. I am, being able to do these things, be able to feel, a little bit of adrenaline, kind of get that going, and be able to finally experience these things with my whole being, not just, drunk or whatever. Like, it's what makes life worth living, and being able to share that with people is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think it's a different experience when you're clear and you're sober and you're clean and you're able to be completely present in the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it definitely makes a difference. Is there any what do you feel like the therapeutic benefit of these adventure experiences are for somebody in recovery?
I mean, they're all very different. Like Carynn was talking about with the ropes course, we really try to look at how anxiety is the human response to change. So it's not something that happens to people. It's just as much as being hungry or thirsty or experiencing any other emotion. It's had a biological purpose. And so we can really see that there is a sense of accomplishment, self-esteem when we're able to walk through anxiety, and kind of really illustrating that there's this comfort zone that we exist in, this imaginary boundary that, for me personally and a lot of people that struggle with addiction have a preference towards avoidance, specifically anything uncomfortable. I want to stay comfortable. I want to feel good. And within that bubble, that boundary, there's a self-defeating cycle that occurs. So if we can show people that if they can step out of the conditioned behavior, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that they don't have to be a victim to that anxiety. There definitely still are anxiety disorders, and we're not trying to look down or say anything about that. But for us, the simple uncomfortable situations, being able to walk through that and really empower the people that we work with, and all of our experiences, they tend to focus on different underlying biological components that we all have that are often dormant or that have been ignored, and then tension has been drawn away from. So how can we reactivate that? How can we use this to our benefit? How can we use what's already there to help people empower themselves, to take some accountability for their life and their behavior, and experience some sort of positive and lasting change?
Beautiful, thank you.
I think for me that, when we look at, I love metaphors, and so for me, treatment is like teaching somebody how to ride a bike, but never actually putting them on a bike.
Without the training wheels, right?
Without anything.
Oh, okay.
Because you can know how to ride a bike. I can know how the pedals work. I can know how to steer the handlebars.
Oh, yeah.
But until I physically have the experience of riding a bike, I don't know how to ride a bike. And so for us, we're putting them in the situations where they get to take these ideals and concepts that they're learning in treatment and actually apply them. We give them that bike. And that's, to me, what is the biggest benefit of what we're doing.
Beautiful.
A lot of that is, it's really easy. I've been to a lot of treatment, and it's really easy to have the answers. It's really easy to rely on what I've gained and what I've learned from my treatment experiences, the therapists, the counselors, the books that I've read, the spiritual quests that I've been on, to have the right answer. And so for me, putting myself in a situation like how we talked about the things that we're passionate about, we put ourselves in situations that we are uncomfortable, that I don't have the opportunity to present in a specific way. I can't be hip, slick, and cool if I'm dangling 60 feet in the air by a rope, you know, I have an opportunity to meet this authentic part of myself. You know, who am I when I'm faced with this obstacle, with this difficulty?
Why are you laughing, Joe?
Why are you laughing? Yeah, I get it.
So it's part of that journey too, is really highlighting and discovering some of those parts of ourselves that we might not really have met or interacted with in a long time.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like you get to experience yourself completely like raw in a sense, authentic, and you're also there to help them walk through that process of being their authentic selves, struggling with anxiety or fear. Any questions for them?
What was one of your biggest fears about starting your business?
Failing.
I really, seriously though, because what we're doing is not really been done in the manner that it's being done right now. So it's a completely new concept to kind of bring together some of the best aspects of wilderness therapy into a more clinical type setting. And it's the hybrid environment that we provide really isn't out there anywhere like what we're doing. So this completely new concept, there's always a big opportunity to fail, that it won't go off quite right. But
so far we haven't really been failing. I know when we first started out, my biggest fear was safety. Like, we do a lot of stuff that, the high risk environment, as the insurance companies put it. But throughout that process, we all have gone through a lot of training and a lot of different certification groups in order to maintain a very safe atmosphere in a risky environment. As of yet, we have not hurt any clients, and we're very, very proud of that fact.
Knock on wood. Why is adventure or seeking out adventure important to somebody's recovery? Like, I'm sure that you guys encourage the clients that you do work with to continue to seek out recovery even after they've left treatment.
I think
Absolutely.
a lot of that is kind of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Adventure looks different for everyone.
Sure.
And that's why, not all of our programs are high impact adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And we're branching out into this idea that adventure is something different for everyone. Looking at utilizing things like an ecology center, more low impact programs to see what's out there for people, what might inspire, where's that little flame, that spark of passion that someone might be able to grasp onto and take into a career path or a lifelong hobby, or something that brings that meaning and fulfillment that they didn't have when they were using. And with the adventure part of it, there's this risk. There's this piece of me that I'm not sure what's going to happen, And when we're talking about that comfort zone, if I continue to do what I know, I'm going to end up with exactly what I had in the first place. Nothing's going to change for me. So there's an adventure in getting sober, because I have to take on a completely new way of life. I have to let go of that lack of control, the fear of the known, the unknown, and embrace the possibility of what can happen. And that's the adventure.
I think for me, one of the biggest driving forces for getting into just being adventurous and doing other things, because I was a chef for so long, I didn't have an opportunity to go camping or backpacking or climbing and all this stuff, is I spent so much time sitting around saying, I'm going to do that someday, or I'm going to try that, and I'm going to tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. And so now I see something that I want to do, and I say, okay, this is what I have to do to get there, I'm going to do it. And then I fall through, and it's been amazing.
Beautiful.
I said it beautifully, yeah. I don't have anything to add to that.
Do you guys have any experiences that you'd like to share about your favorite adventures that you've had in recovery? I'll tell you mine.
What's yours, Joe?
Okay, so I was recently in Southeast Asia. I went white water rafting for the first time, and my idea of white water rafting was it was going to be very calm, very fun, and kind of just like, oh, okay, look at all the nature and everything.
And you were there in, what, January,
I
right?
was there in January.
Right after monsoons?
Yeah, so I slightly had a near-death experience, but I would do it over and over again. It was amazing, and to be able to be clear and present and sober for that experience was one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life.
I love being clear when I'm almost dying.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead? What's your...
My favorite?
One of your favorite adventures.
experiences you got since you got sober?
There have been a lot of experiences.
Just pick one.
I would probably say to date at this moment was 2 Thanksgivings ago. I was backpacking in Santa Cruz. And it was misty rain the whole time, and no one was out there. So it was me and my girlfriend Tracy. We were pretty much all to ourselves. And there was wild mushrooms coming up everywhere.
That's cool.
It was just the redwoods. You know, there's not much ground cover in some areas, so there's these giant trees covered in mist. You know, and it's all it's just quiet. The sound of water just dropping onto the leaves and onto the ground. There's just that solitude and that peace. And it was just warm enough that it wasn't like, it was perfect backpacking weather. It was cool and moist, and it was just very peaceful.
Was that when you were on the Lost Coast?
Definitely not the Lost Coast.
Oh,
that was a
up
good
north.
experience. I would never do that again.
I would say mine. It's a toss-up between Peru and Thailand. I travel. Peru was amazing. I actually went to Peru. Peru was an awesome experience because I had this expectation and I had this plan,
Right.
and I was going to go surf the longest left in the world. And I got there and there were no waves. So I spent like $600 and I brought my surfboards with me. Don't ever bring your surfboards to another country that surfs. It's a waste of money. And I got there and it was the worst wave drought they'd ever had. I got kidnapped the first night. There was a tsunami warning the next day, and I had to evacuate my hostel. And we asked the cops, we're like, "Oh, well, where do we go?" And he's like, "Up." So we just started hiking up this hill. But I ended up changing up my plans, meeting some amazing people, and going to Machu Picchu. And it was just one of the most spiritual experiences ever. I mean, being in that setting, and I was a little over a year sober at the time, and it was just an incredible experience. And I still talk to all the people that I met there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually going to see a bunch of them in Europe when I go this summer, and it was amazing.
Cool.
So, and then getting Jo to get a tattoo in Thailand was probably one of my favorite experiences.
He copied
Also,
me, actually.
I got mine first.
But I had my appointment already.
Check
So
on Facebook.
we both recently went to Southeast Asia and got these traditional Thai tattoos.
Are you going to show yours?
No.
Okay.
Some of my favorite, just getting to spend, like Max was talking about, those things I was always going to do tomorrow. I've always been interested in camping and rock climbing, but for a solid 10, 15 years of my life, I never actually did that stuff.
Right.
Unless you count being homeless. Maybe. But,
That's camping.
yeah, that's camping, right? Yeah. But,
I camped with my dog a lot.
actually hanging out with you guys in Zion for 4 or 5 days was epic, and doing those really amazing hikes. Going to Sequoia and seeing some of
beautiful.
the biggest trees in the world, and getting to spend 9 days at Joshua Tree last year. These are the moments that just keep me going. Like this is the
Eric's gotten a lot better at camping since our first trip to Zion. I just have to point out, when we went to Zion, he stuffed a queen-size air mattress
No way.
inside of a tent.
Oh my gosh.
And there was this much space between the ceiling and the air mattress, and it was pressing it. You could see the shape of the air mattress in the tent. It was glorious.
I was so comfortable. It was amazing.
Wow, you guys really
I couldn't
inspire me,
even
though.
climb in there.
I want to plan out my next camping trip now. So, yeah.
Let's do it.
So, do you have any questions for them?
What is your favorite way to relax and wind down from a busy work day?
A nice chai tea latte.
I was gonna go with pumpkin spice. Maybe light a little fire, put on some Lululemon pants.
Oh my gosh, Lululemon pants are the best.
I think it's Lululemon. It's French.
Is it?
right?
I don't know.
It's definitely not.
I don't know. I don't think we're any different than.
I don't know that I
anybody
wind
else.
down.
Yeah. Any different than anyone else. I don't.
Honestly,
I'll
The
watch-
Office.
The Office is really good. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Love watching that for some laughs.
Lay down, watch The Office.
How about that? You're telling me that you meditate every single day and you don't feel
I
quite
absolutely-
yourself if you don't,
I'm a
right?
big proponent of meditation. Usually that's a morning routine, though. For me,
Mhm.
that's something that I use to start off my day. That's something that's absolutely, yeah, to get my mind right. Because I wake up with, the Buddhists call it the chatter of 1,000 monkeys
Mhm. Monkey mind.
going off my mind all the time. And unless I take the time to sit and quiet and experience some stillness, I carry either the stillness with me throughout the day or that chatter with me throughout the day. And that's, probably the biggest changing tool that I've picked up in sobriety is the ability to find some stillness. Or I'm sorry, the ability to realize that the stillness exists.
Wow.
I don't create or I don't find
That's
it.
profound.
It's already there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So what do you do to wind down?
I answered.
It
You said
varies.
pumpkin spice
you know.
latte, didn't you?
I get off of work
Yeah.
and my life's really busy. So
Yeah.
I have school full time, developing my own spiritual practices that I have,
Climbing.
lots of climbing, lots of outdoor stuff. So for me, there's lots of training, as a yoga teacher, like
Oh wow, I
Doing-
didn't know that about you.
You aren't pretending anymore?
not pretending anymore. So there's, I had like, my whole life had taught classes, taught stuff, not when I was getting loaded, but I never was certified, so now I did the official, went to Saddleback. It's super cheap and kind of nice to have an academic background for it. So between school and the yoga and climbing, and being on a budget and making all my own food definitely takes some time. So,
Meal prepping can be meditative though and relaxing.
but that's what it is like
it's like
Eric
cooking.
was talking about, the silence is always there. I don't need to really wind down because I'm here right now.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm stressed about what's happening in this moment. I don't need to take a break from it and relax. It's the same. It's just I'm experiencing a different state, a different place. Each moment is infinitely unique, and I just get to show up for it.
Beautiful. Well, we'll close out with one more question. What advice would you give an alcoholic or drug addict that is currently struggling?
I feel like I need more context on the question.
That's really. You could go with stop using. But
What, some positive words or
Do
encouraging?
they want the advice, or are you asking? me?
Yeah. What if you met somebody and
Are
they
they
said, "Hey,
still using, or is it like a recovering
Do they
attitude?
want us
you're
to
making
stop?
this so complicated."
I know we are.
It's a complicated question.
It-
Okay.
Because I would say something different.
What words of encouragement would you give? Would you say to somebody who's currently struggling with an alcohol?
With using?
Yes.
Okay, so they're currently using.
Yes.
Cool.
They're
Stop.
loaded right now.
They're loaded right now.
Call me when you're sober.
Yeah.
I think words of encouragement, though, kind of the stuff we were talking about earlier with the experience of life as it is sober compared to what we think it is before we get there. And it's hard to describe how good life can be until you actually have experienced it. But the amount of fun that you can have, the amount that you don't have to be using in order to experience fun. You don't have to be using in order to experience. It's hard to put those into words, though.
For me personally, my addiction is rampant.
Hmm.
You know, I needed to be separated from substances. You know, I was unable to do it on my own. You know, I needed to have that separation. I'm not in a position to hear anything that anyone's telling me, any experience that they're sharing, you know. So I don't know what their story is, but my story is that I wasn't ever able to do it on my own, you know. So the advice would be to ask for help.
Beautiful, yeah. Because you can't do it on your own. It takes a village.
And it's available.
And it's available.
I think for me, I would talk to the person that's 1 day sober, 10 days sober, 15 days sober, and just say it gets better.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Put in the work and start reaching out to people and actually applying the tools that you're learning, and things will be different. And that's all I wanted when I got sober, was something different.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or otherwise, just different.
Well, thank you all for
Thank
being
you.
here. Yeah.
Welcome. And happy International Women's Day to you ladies.
Happy
Yes.
Happy
And to all the ladies out there, we appreciate it.
Yay. Bye, guys.